What's going on, guys? In today's video I'm going to be showing y'all 10 essential Roblox Studio plugins, and if you're somebody who's a developer or somebody who wants to learn, this video is going to help you understand what plugins you actually need to make a really good Roblox game or whatever it might be. So I'm going to be showing y'all some building plugins, that you can use for building games, like, just kind of building stuff in your game, etc. And I'm also going to be showing y'all some scripting plugins that you can use for scripting. So yeah, man, without further ado, man, let's get it, man, and let's get right into the video. So the first plugins that we're going to be talking about is actually multiple plugins. So it's GapFill and ResizeAllign. Have you ever been in a situation where you had these two parts that just can't really connect with each other? Well, that's where GapFill will come in handy, because GapFill and ResizeAllign is basically going to help you to connect two parts together or make them the same size. For example, GapFill is going to help you to basically fill in a gap between two parts, and ResizeAllign is going to help you to basically make two parts the same size, because it can be very annoying to have these two parts that you just cannot connect, or you can't really get them to combine with each other, if you know what I'm saying. So it is a very helpful plugin that I highly recommend. So without further ado, let's go to the second one. Roundify is a plugin that allows you to round the corners of any GUI that you might have in the game. So for example, if you have a GUI that is very, that just looks like a square and it's not very interesting, Roundify is going to allow you to round the corners of the actual GUI. So, you're not going to have to deal with, everything being, a square or something. You can just make it so your GUIs are rounded, if you know what I'm saying. So it is a very helpful plugin that I do recommend if you're somebody who makes a lot of GUIs in game. Part to Terrain is one of my favorite plugins personally, because it makes it extremely easy to create terrains from parts, just like the name says. And this plugin is a plugin that I've used for a while now, because it is an extremely helpful plugin. And every time I'm making a game on Roblox, I use it, because you can basically take any part that you want, like this for example, and you can just turn it into a terrain, whether it be water, and this is like extremely useful when it comes to creating water, like creating some type of water for your game or anything like that. So I do highly recommend it. You can also make grass, you can make this, that, you can create any type of terrain, and it is way better than just using the terrain editor always, because it's very complicated. And if you're making any type of Roblox game, you need to know about this plugin. It is extremely helpful and I highly recommend it. The next plugin I'm going to be talking about is 3D Text 2. 3D Text 2 is a plugin, and can you guess what it does just by its name? Well, you guessed it. It makes 3D text. Nobody wants to see that boring 2D text that you have on your parts. Nobody's trying to see that, okay? So the best way to step up your game when it comes to text in Roblox is just to have a plugin like 3D Text 2. And I highly recommend this plugin specifically, because I've tried some other ones and it's really not the same type of feeling. So if you want to create 3D text in your game, 3D Text 2 is a plugin that I definitely recommend, because it's going to give you a really easy way to make some text that looks very good and professional. Even though you don't really have to make it yourself, individually, obviously, you can just type it in and it's going to make those parts and everything automatically. So it is a very quick and easy way to create some text in Roblox, and I use it myself. Road Tasks is a very helpful plugin for people who have multiple games that they're working on, or maybe you're working on a single game but you want to keep track of things that you have to do. So basically this plugin is going to allow you to write some tasks for yourself to complete later, so you don't need to use external apps like Notepad or something, and in turn is going to allow you to actually connect those tasks to that specific project that you have. So you're not going to have to worry about having notes that you created for multiple games, because it's going to automatically be connected to that specific game that you are working on. The next plugin that I'm going to be talking about is Tool Grip Editor. Tool Grip Editor is going to allow you to edit the way certain items are held. So you can make it so the player holds a certain item the way you intended it to be held. So I'm just going to give y'all an example over here. So let's say that you have this item right here and you don't want it to look like this when somebody's holding it. So then you can just do this. Next up, we have AutoScale Lite. This plugin is a life changer, to be honest. So if you ever been working on some GUIs for your game and it looks different on your phone or on your PC or something, like it just looks different on every single screen and you just can't get it to stay a certain way, that's where AutoScale Lite comes in, because this plugin allows you to make it so GUI looks the same on every single device that you might be playing on. So for example, you know, if we make a GUI and we want to make it look the same no matter what the resolution is, we can just do that with this plugin. It's extremely helpful and it's free and I recommend it. Next up, we have Archimedes, and this plugin is very interesting because if you ever wanted to make circles in Roblox, now you can. It's basically like that thing that you have in school for math, but just in Roblox. You can make circles. You can also use this plugin to create some bridges, paths, and stuff like that, because, you know, it works the same way. You know, you might not use it for circles, but you can use it for creating paths and etc. Next up, we have a plugin that is very useful for any type of game, and that is Load Character Lite. Load Character Lite allows you to import any Roblox account's avatar into your game. You just have to type in the name of a player that you want to get the skin from, basically, and you can just import it into the game. It's as simple as that, to be honest. So literally all you have to do is you just have to type in the name, and then you can just spawn in exactly, you know, the type of character that they have and everything that they're wearing. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting because, you know, just like I said in the beginning, I'm also going to be giving y'all some plugins for scripting. So not every plugin is for building and GUIs and etc. Like there's also some sauce that I want to give y'all when it comes to coding, basically. So this is not a Roblox plugin actually. This is an external tool, an app called Visual Studio Code. Now it is a very famous code editor, and you know, I used to think that back in the day, I used to think that every single code for Roblox or whatever was made like in Roblox. But you know, when I saw some, you know, big people, like big developers work on their games, I saw that a lot of them use apps like Visual Studio Code, because basically what this is basically an external app that allows you to edit code in that app and not in Roblox directly. Now if you're a beginner, you can like feel free to code in Roblox. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's actually pretty helpful to do that. But if you're somebody who wants to, you know, take it to the next level, or you want to code while not being in Roblox Studio, I highly recommend this app. You're gonna have to set it up in a way so it allows you to create Lua scripts, because Roblox uses a language called Lua, and in order to create Lua scripts, you're gonna have to set it up in Visual Studio Code. But once you have it set it up, it's extremely helpful if you want to code outside of Roblox Studio or whatever, or if you just want to practice coding or whatever. Like it is extremely helpful if you're a scripter. And the reason I'm including it in this video is because I didn't know about it for a while, and I've been playing Roblox for like almost 10 years at this point, and it's just now that I'm finding out that, you know, people use stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of obvious if you think about it, but I've never really personally thought about it, you know what I'm saying? Like I never really personally thought about it that way, but it is something that people actually use, and I do recommend it. If you're somebody who's a scripter or wants to learn how to script, I do highly recommend Visual Studio Code. So yeah, it is a very helpful tool if you're just starting out and you want to learn how to code. And yeah, that's basically it when it comes to the plugins. And yeah, same time next week.